Shalom. 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 Ahab wa baraka. In other words, peace, love, and blessings. First and foremost, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. And double honors to all the sincere prophets, elders, apostles, teachers, disciples, and Israelites coming into this truth sincerely. Looking for that 100% truth, and the ones that have it giving out that 100% truth. Now, first and foremost, let's just start by saying this is a class is called Rich Man, Poor Man. And it's a sirach, chapter 13, a simple breakdown. Let's go right into it. Let's go ahead and read sirach, chapter 13. And let's start from the top. Just read the first one. Just give me the first verse.
Sirach, chapter 13, verse 1. He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith. And he that hath fellowship with a proud man should be like unto him.
So, it says right here, he that touches the pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that hath fellowship with the proud man shall be like unto the proud man. So, let's go over to 2 John. And you got, and I'll go ahead and get this because I got it right here in front of me. It's 2 John chapter 1, because there's only one chapter, and verse 10 and 11. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is a partaker of his evil deeds. So, it says right here, he that hath fellowship with the proud man shall be like unto the proud man. It says right here that for he that biddeth Godspeed, in other words, that he that's fellowshipping with this person is partaking of his evil deeds. So that's why you shouldn't be fellowshipping, because you might not be, but you're going to be considered one of them no matter what. So let's move on. Let's go to let's keep going. Verse 2.
Burden not thyself above thy power while thou livest, and have no fellowship with one that is mightier and richer than thyself. For how agree the kettle and the earthen pot together? For if the one be smitten against the other, it shall be broken.
In other words, you go bringing yourself up against these powerful people, they're going to destroy you. You can't stand against a rich man when you're the poor man, because he has resources that you don't. Go ahead.
The rich man have done wrong, and yet he threatened withal. The poor is wrong, and he must entreat also.
The poor is wrong, but he still has to say something. Or you know what? Get me Psalm 1 and 1. Psalm 1 and 1.
Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
You know what? That should have went with. I should have put that with the first two verses. But sorry about that, guys. I put that in the wrong spot. But let me go back to verse 3 again. A rich man has done wrong, and he threateneth withal. So like a rich man does something wrong, and he'll literally just, he could literally just How would you put it in the words?
How would
He
you put it?
threateneth with all. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do it like this. I want to break it down absolutely correct. Let's get rid of the music and let me see this. Let's get the biblical definition. What is the biblical definition of threatening with all? To declare purpose or inflicting punishment.
Yeah.
So when he does something wrong and you call him out on it, what does he do? He'll inflict punishment, pain, or other evil on another. So in fact, so what do they say? We did something wrong? Nope, it was Ukraine, and we're going to put sanctions on them. Next thing we know, we're paying for it. We're the ones paying for all this stuff. Just think of it like that. So let's and then if the poor man is wrong, he must entreat also. So if we're wrong, we still have to pay for it no matter what. They do something wrong, we have to pay for it. We do nothing wrong, we still have to pay for it for whatever they did wrong. Let's keep going. Verse 4. You got a precept you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
If thou be for the prophet, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
So, if he feels like he can get something out of you, he's gonna come right up to you. And what's the best way to put it? Proverbs 22 and 16. Proverbs 22 and 16. If he can use you, what is he gonna do?
Proverbs 22 and 18. Right?
Uh-huh.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 18. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee.
No, 16.
16, I'm sorry. Proverbs 22, verse 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want.
So, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But he's going to take everything you got. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. So he'll screw you over. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. So,
Not all for what you said, but what you said where you said that he will make you bear and not have to pay for it, right?
yes.
Sirach. Let me just pull it up real quick. Sirach 8 and 2.
All right, there you go. Sirach 8 and 2. You want me to get it?
Yeah, if you're there.
Be not a variance with a rich man, lest he overweigh thee. For gold hath destroyed many, and perverted the hearts of kings.
Right, that's it.
Strive not with a man that is full of tongue, and heap not wood unto his fire.
She said, be not a variance. If you become an issue for a rich man, he's going to put all of his weight on you because he has much gold to keep you in that low state.
Like when I said earlier, you go up against a rich man, he has resources. He will destroy you systematically most of the time. Every now and then he'll just come in and just like literally just put the knife through you and carnally murder your ass. But for the most part, they like to use the system to destroy you because it's a lot funner for them to watch you suffer. But let's keep going. Ecclesiastes verse 6, 13 and 6.
Ecclesiastes chapter 13, verse 6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair, and say, what wantest thou?
Well, then you know we got to go to Proverbs 55 and 21 on that one, because he says if he have need, he's going to smile at you. I'm sorry, Psalm 55 and 21. I don't know why. That's the second time I said that today. Psalm 55 and 21. Because, and I'll read this again when you get back. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair, and say, what needest thou?
55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but the war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
So his words were smoother than butter. And we all know what that's about. They'll say one thing and do something else every single time. It's like, when are you going to get tired of it and just wake up to the truth? But let's get a precept on that. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 8 and 25. Daniel 8 and 25. Because his words were smoother than butter. If he have need of thee, he's going to smile in your face and stab you in the back. So let's get that. Daniel, it's way over here. Over before Jonah. That one, yeah. 8 and 25.
I'm almost there. Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. And though his policy also, and through his policy also, he shall cause crafty to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
And he shall be broken without hand. Let's get a precept on that. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 5 and 3. 2 Thessalonians 5 and 3. Let's get a precept on that, because it said through peace that he will, well, you get that, and I'll read this again. And through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall destroy many. So what's the first thing they say? Oh, in the name of peace and safety, we have to give $40 billion to this country over here, but our country doesn't even have any of the basic necessities anymore, like food, baby formula. Women are missing tampons. I mean, it's getting rough out there. This is the beginning of sorrows. But go ahead, give me 2 Thessalonians 5 and 3.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. So yeah. First Thessalonians 5.
1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
Wait, stop right there. So peace and safety every time. In the name of peace, in the name of safety, we've got to go in and destroy this country. In the name of peace, in the name of safety, we have to take away all your rights. In the name of peace, in the name of safety, we have to force physical things on you that you would never do. But because they say peace and safety, they can do it. And what was it? Through their policies, he shall also cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. By peace shall destroy many. And through peace and safety, then you know what's coming next. Sudden destruction. You guys got to wake up to this. You really do. Let's get back into it. Let's go to Sirach 13 and 7.
Hey, can I get something that Job said?
Yeah, please, get something then. So we got another precept coming. What is it? Job what?
It's going on with that peace and safety.
With the peace and safety.
People be thinking about peace and safety. Job 3 and 26.
Job chapter 3 and verse 26. I'll read it for you. You can break it down. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came.
Because you know that liar, that rich man, he's giving you that peace and safety. But even though there was peace, there was still no rest, and trouble still came anyways. I just wanted to bring that out because that has to go with that, that peace and safety.
Yeah.
It's a illusion.
Yeah. And in what you said, there will be no rest. Thy foot shall have no rest in this kingdom. What chapter and verse?
There should have no rest in this kingdom.
Deuteronomy 28 and 65. So, I mean, it just goes, we could go all night just back and forth because of, this is how it's going down. These are the end times. It's not, these are the beginning of sorrows. We're in the sorrows. We're about to come into the Jacob's trouble. So, Deuteronomy 28 and 65. I think Lady North. You know what? Let's go to let's start at 64.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of the foot have rest.
Wait, you're not going to have rest in this kingdom. So how can there be peace and safety? Go ahead.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Think about that. Scared in your heart. Everything you see seems like failure in your eyes, and your mind is just destroyed because you cannot win in your oppressor's kingdom, yet he tells you peace and safety. Let's go ahead and move on from that. Let's go to Sirach 13 and 7.
Sirach 13 verse 7.
Wait, let's read 6 again through 7.
Verse 6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair, and say, What wantest thou? And he will shame thee by his meats, until he have drawn thee dry twice, or thrice. Thrice.
Thrice.
Thrice. Thrice. I said it in Spanish. And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn. Afterwards, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
Okay, so, and he will shame thee by his meats until he has drawn thee dry twice or thrice. Let me give you an updated example. Let me give you an end time example of that. Pandemic. Shut everything down. No one can work. No small businesses can be open, but small businesses still have to pay their bills. Okay, now that you guys are bankrupt, everything can open. And before everything could open, the only places you could shop were businesses that were owned by the elites. The major corporations were the only places you were safe. Those were deemed safe. That was one. Let me get number two. As soon as that was over, it was because it wasn't really trending anymore. Now we got the Ukraine war, right? Everybody's going back and forth about that. Great distraction. But you know what? It started to calm down a little after a short amount of time. Next thing you know, they're going back to trying to take our weapons again by distracting us with multiple school shootings. Just all of a sudden, there's no school shootings. Then there's 30 to 40, this, that, and the third, all over here, all over there, school shootings. You want to go for another one? All of our food is all of a sudden dying, but Gil Bates has bought up all the farmland and all the processing centers, but the ones that Gil Bates doesn't own are the ones that are getting destroyed. But the stuff that he owns is perfectly fine, but everybody around him is having all their stuff completely destroyed. And now he's drawn us dry twice or thrice. What do we have left? What do we have? Give me Obadiah 1 and 5. What do we got left? I know it's hard to find. It's got that one
page little book.
That one page little book that got more meat in it than about one.
Man, myself a page number. I cannot find it. It's after Amos before going on.
Oh, here it is.
Right there. All I had to do was flip one page.
It's the front. There it is. Yeah, see? That page. Okay, give me Obadiah 1 and 5.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 5. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
So, think about it. This guy ran us dry, not once, but twice, then 3 times. They didn't leave anything behind. And we know who we're talking about now, because you got to go to Obadiah just to get a precept on somebody that evil. Because there's only one person that's that evil. And that's right, Esau. We know exactly who you are. You dumb Edomite cave beast. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. You know what? Let me read it again, though. And he will shame thee by his meats until he hath drawn thee away twice or thrice, and at the last laugheth thee to scorn. Afterwards, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee, and shall shake his head at thee. So after he's robbed everything you've got, laughed in your face because he knew he was going to rob you in the beginning, what do? They see you and they go, tisk, 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 look at you. Get out of here. What are you still doing here? Why are you still here? So, let's keep going. Sirach 13 and 8.
Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. Jollity.
In other words, in your joy. Be not deceived in your joy. Why would it say that? Because what he's going to do is, let's go back to, and he will shame thee by his meats. So he throws us $1,000, but he got what, $70 billion or some crazy $1 billion amount. So how much did they take after they threw us pretty much pennies on the dollar to the American people? But everybody else deserves. Butterflies are getting billions of dollars even. Butterflies got more money than all Americans. How is that possible? The butterfly research is more important than us? Is it? I mean, how about that park that Nancy Pelosi needs outside of her window so she has something to look at? I mean, these are the things that we're paying for. And let me read it again. Read it again.
Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. So while you're spending your $1,000, they lied to you. You're all joyful out there for one afternoon. You went out to lunch, you probably bought some food, paid a couple bills, maybe got the kids a few clothes, and you're fucking broke afterwards. 2 Corinthians 11 and 6. Maybe vulgar in language, but not knowledge. I know what I'm talking about here. While now you're broke, what did they do? They raised everything by $1,000. Gas went from $2 a gallon to $4.55 a gallon. They said it barely went up to this. It went up $3 a gallon where I live. It went up $3 a gallon. $3. $2.50 to $3. They took the food and quadrupled the price. They took the clothes, quadrupled the price. You can't buy soil to grow plants because they quadrupled the price. So don't be deceived and your little bit of joy with your little $1,000. That's the kind of stuff this end time prophecy is talking about. But let's go. You got one? What's another way he deceived? Okay, you found it? No, go
I
on.
was going to say, what's another way he deceived us? What's another way he deceived us? I mean, they told you green energy, right? No infrastructure. No infrastructure plan, no guidance, no direction, no starting point, no ending point. Just an idea that they throw out at you, and then they take all the money, pocket it, and leave, and they call that the new green energy deal. But if you find it, all right, let's go ahead and go to verse 9.
If thou be invited of a mighty man, withdraw thyself, and so much more will he invite thee.
So, if a mighty man wants to be close to you, stay away from him. It already told you in verse 4, if you're his prophet, he will use thee, but if you have nothing, he will forsake thee. So if a mighty man wants to be close to you, what does that mean? It means that he's trying to get something from you. But if you didn't have anything, he wouldn't. I mean, if you don't have anything he wants, why would he draw himself near to you? Why would he do that? So it's telling you in verse 4, watch out for this. You go down to verse 9, it's telling you he's inviting you over. You got to refer back to verse 4 and say, wait a second, he's just going to use me, because if I didn't have anything he wouldn't, if I didn't have anything that he actually wanted, why would he draw himself near me? He would forsake me. Let me get a precept. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 6. Yes.
2 Thessalonians
3 and 6.
chapter 3, verse 6. But now when Timotheus,
It's 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 6.
2 Thessalonians.
Yeah.
So that was the 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 6.
Yeah.
Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Yahuwah Christ, that ye withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly, and not after the tradition which he received of us.
So, let me read this one again. So, let me read 9 again. If thou be invited of a mighty man, withdraw thyself. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, that you withdraw yourself from every brother that walk disorderly. This guy right here already told you in verse 4, if he have no need of thee, he will forsake thee. Stay away from him. He's walking disorderly. He's not after the tradition which he received of us. All right, let's move on. Let's go back over to Sirach, to chapter 10. I mean, verse 10.
Sirach 13, verse 10. Press thou not upon him, lest thou be put back. Stand not far off, lest thou be forgotten.
Keep going.
Afflict not to be made equal unto him in talk, and believe not his many words. For with much communication will he tempt thee, and smiling upon thee will get out thy secrets.
Ooh, so with much communication, he's going to use a certain type of psychology, whichever type it may be. It has to be to wherever your conversation's going. But he's going to use that to, what is he going to do? Get you, he's going to tempt you to make you bring out your secrets. Let's get a precept on that. Matthew 7 and 6. He's gonna tempt you, and you're gonna open your big mouth, and you're gonna tell your secrets. But what does the scripture say that? What does the scriptures say about telling your secrets to an ungodly, disorderly man? All right, Matthew 7 and 6.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Give that Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you.
So they want to know your secrets so they can get a one-up on you. Why? So they can trample your secrets down and then tear you apart next. Because once they figured out what makes you tick, they're going to take it apart and put it back together the way they want it. They're going to destroy you. They're going to trample you. To rent is to tear. They're going to tear your ass apart. Give not your secrets. So we don't go around teaching this to everybody. We're very circumspect. You ask a few questions first. You get a person and find out whether they're interested, because most people, 90.5%, are not going to want to be a part of this. Now, we already know that 2/3 don't want nothing to do with this. Finding another 1/3 is almost impossible at some point. But anyway, let's keep going. Because what happens after, what did I just tell you? They're going to find out your secrets and destroy you, right? And what's the first thing they do to destroy a person? They make laws against you. They find out what your laws are, and then they put laws against you. And what do when you break their laws? Go ahead, read verse
12. Right?
Yes.
But cruelly he will lay up thy words, and will not spare to do thy hurt, and to put thee in prison.
So you hear that? He's going to use your words against you. He's going to use your words to hurt you. And he's going to use your words to put you in prison. So when you cast your secrets among these evil demons, they're going to use it against you. When you teach them what these scriptures say, they're going to use it against you. It's that simple. That's why the Most High made it to where they can't understand it in the first place, because they would have destroyed us completely if they understood what this Bible's actually really saying. And the few elites that do understand it, they know better. That's why they can't push too hard. They have to follow also through with the prophecies. They can't do anything outside of the prophecy. You just can't. This ain't your show. You just are playing a part in a show. It's a good movie too. It's almost over. I can't wait for the climatic end. That what is it? Isaiah 55 and 16? I think it's Isaiah 55 and 16. Let's see. Isaiah 55. Watch this. 55. It might be. I might be wrong. Nope. 13. Nope. I can't find it. And the Lord shall come with fire. What chapter and verse? Isaiah 66 and 15. My bad. I did not 55. Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to rend, to tear everybody's ass up, his anger and with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. So we're pretty excited about this movie being over, because that climatic end, it's getting ready to happen. There's very few prophecies left. Let's go back into Ecclesiasticus, and go back to 13. 13 and 13.
Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing. When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep.
Okay, first of all, the word peril means danger. So be very careful, be circumspect when you're walking in this danger. And it says, when you see this danger, I just saw a mouse. When you see this danger, awaken out of thy sleep. And they shall lie dead in the street 3.5 days. What chapter and verse? I don't really have it there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Revelation 11 and 9. Because it said, read that verse again. Read that verse again. I'll get this one.
Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of the overthrowing when thou hearest these things awake in thy sleep.
So when you hear these things, when you're walking in danger and you see all this danger around you, it's time to wake up from your sleep. What sleep? And their bodies shall, this is Revelation 11:8, and their bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Where do we live? He's telling you to wake up. Where also our Lord was crucified. Why? Because everything they've done, they destroyed this book. This is right here. This is how we get to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, Yahweh through his son. They destroyed that. But we're building it back up. How do I know? Watch this. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So 350 years, during that transatlantic slave trade that no one talks about really, yeah, that's when we were dead. And when that time frame started to be up, about 50, almost 60 years ago now, we started to wake up. The first camp was just about 60 years ago, 50 years ago. Anyway, that would be a 350-year awakening. And that is where all of the Israelite camps actually stem from. But let me keep going, because it said they'll lie 3 days and a half and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. In other words, they're not going to tell us who we are. To be put in the grave is to be put to rest. How would we be put to rest? When you tell us who we are, where we came from, what our culture is, and that we're the kings of the earth. Are they going to do that? No. But they didn't do that, did they? They didn't even want to do that. And verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and cause these two prophets, the northern and southern kingdom, are the two prophets. Do you know where that precept is? The two prophets tormented them and dwelt on the earth. The Israelites, the northern and southern kingdom, they know that we're going to whoop that ass when we wake up. They know that. We only tormented them for a very short time when David and Solomon ruled over the earth. That was it. And then during Exodus, when we put our name out there, when we put his name out there, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, everything was done for us from the Exodus until now. Everything we do is because we did it to ourselves. We create our own temptation. For Yahweh does not tempt, but he'll give us a way out of it. Let me read the next verse. This is verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood on their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. We woke up. What does it say over here in Sirach again? Verse 13. This is still Sirach chapter 13 and verse 13. Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in danger. Peril is danger of thy overthrowing. They're trying to get rid of us. They're trying to overthrow us again. When thou hearest these things, awaken out of thy sleep. So when you go down to verse 11, after 350 years, the spirit of Yahweh entered into them, and they stood on their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, because these people that see us now know that we understand who we are. Who are we? Wake out of your sleep and figure it out. Let's go to the next verse. Verse 14.
Love the Lord all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor.
Wait, let's get that one. We got to pull that out. How do you love thy neighbor? We got to go over here to Leviticus 19 and 17 real quick. I always pull this one out whenever I get the opportunity, because it's really important. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. It says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and suffer not sin upon him. What is the opposite of hate? Love. So if you love your brother, you're going to do everything you can to keep him straight with the laws also. That's what it's saying. That's all. It's real simple. Hey man, watch out for that. Or hey, you don't want to do that because this could happen. It's just, that's the rebuke. And there's a strong rebuke and there's a soft, it's just correction. A rebuke is the beginning of correction. You're letting them know that they've done something wrong, and then the next move is to correct. All right, let's keep going.
Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly.
Okay, so right there. Let's go ahead and break that down. Every beast loveth his like. So cows want to be with the cows. The sheep want to be with the sheep. Okay? And every man loveth his neighbor. I showed you that. That is dealing with us. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave with his like. So us Israelites that are pushed down to the bottom of society are not going to be trying to bump and rub elbows with the elites. That's insane. We're going to be with our like-minded people. Like-minded people. Right? I was about to get the precept on. I just hold off on it. You know, I already got a million other precepts to go. So anyway, according to his like. And this is really cool. What hath the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly. So it's funny because just for fun, I've read the book of Enoch a whole bunch of times because I kind of understand it and I could see where they do the hijacks in it. And I also believe that the book of Enoch that we read is not the book of Enoch in its purity. It's been tampered with. But there is one part in it that describes a wolf. The wolf is the metaphor for Egypt. Where do we live? Spiritual Sodom in Egypt. And it describes, or the metaphor for the lamb was the 12 sons of the ram. Who's the ram? Jacob. Who's the 12 sons? The 12 tribes of Israel. So I always thought that was pretty neat that they threw they do have some things in there that do line up, but this is one of the only places in the Bible where I see the wolf with the lamb together too. So imagine the wolf being your great oppressor, which is in spiritual Egypt, and the Israelites, the 1/3, are the lamb. The 2/3, all of us are actually the lamb, but the 1/3 is truly only the lamb without blemish, because we're going to be the ones that get saved. All right, let's keep going.
What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor?
A hyena is a dog. But what agreement does he have with a different kind of dog? Like I said, we're down here pushed to the bottom. What business do we have bumping elbows with our oppressor elites unless we want to be counted as one of them? Keep going.
As a wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor.
The rich eat up the poor. You want to go bumping elbows with somebody that you're not like-minded with and not expect them to tear your ass up. And you know what? These elites actually physically, carnally actually eat people. So you might want to watch out if you are an Israelite. They have a taste for us. And that's not a joke. And if you don't believe me, read the book called The Delectable Nigga. Anyway, keep going.
Verse 20. As the proud hate humility, so doeth the rich adore the poor.
So the
poor.
So the proud hate humility. They hate to be humiliated. And the rich people hate poor people. That's why they look down at you. That's why they talk to you a certain way. That's why they try to throw you a little five. Act like, oh, you probably need this. I feel so good about myself now that I've done something for somebody. You know, they're very proudful and high-minded, but they truly hate us. Their words are smoother than butter, but war is in their heart. Keep going.
As
21.
21. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends.
And I'm going to hold off on the rich man. I'm going to talk about the poor man, and then we'll get to the rich man in the next verse. But the poor man, the reason why the poor man is going to be thrust out by his friends, because, see, we're both poor. So if something happens to me, I can't expect him, when I know he's got to spend his last $5 on his family, and something happens to me, they took my last $5. I can't look over to him and say, give me your last $5. He's like, man, I can't help you. I have to thrust you out. Not because I want to, because I have nothing. We have nothing in this society. Our foot shall have no rest. Right? So we got to think about that. So when your own person will thrust you out, either they took a bag and they're not allowed to help you, or they just can't. And they would love to, hey man, I get you if I had it, bro. I've heard that a lot of times in my life. All right, let's just move on to 20.
Proverbs 28 and 3, going with that.
Proverbs.
Just read.
Proverbs 28 and 3. Let me get that for you. All right, I love it when somebody gets a precept. That's my main thing.
Let me read that again real quick. It says, a rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends.
This is Proverbs 28 and 3.
Read.
A poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain, which leaveth no food.
So that is like the same thing. When a poor man, and he goes to his brother who is also poor, and his brother's like, man, nah, man, you gotta go. And you would know that, like, with poor people, when you're already poor and you're around other poor people and you get that bad luck, all your friends seem to be gone.
Because they already got bad luck.
They're already gone. But it says, what was that? No. A poor man that oppresseth, that's another form of a poor man oppressing another poor man. It's like sweeping rain which leaveth no food.
So
a sweeping rain that comes in and just washes everything away.
So if you're poor and you're trying to oppress your own people, you ain't gonna get nowhere. You guys already don't have anything to begin with. So it'd be best to work together, but it's the truth. When you don't have anything, times become desperate. People get desperate. But what they don't understand is all of the solutions to all of their problems are in this book. And my children shall eat. I'm not hungry. I may be skinny, but I'm not hungry. But anyway, let's keep going. Verse 23.
Verse 23. 22.
22.
When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slippeth, and yet they rebuke him too. He speaketh wisely, and could have no place.
A gift destroyeth the heart. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
Ecclesiastes.
It's in between.
I know where it's at. I just want to make sure it's Ecclesiastes.
Oh yeah, Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Wait. Yes, that's the one.
Skipping over it.
See, there's a mouse.
Zoom again.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that cat tomorrow. I'm gonna read this again.
Go ahead.
Sirach 14 and 22. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, yet they justify him. And the reason why I want to show you why they justify, because see, when the rich man's speaking, the people that are listening to him are mostly the poor people. And when he says things that he shouldn't, the reason why would they justify him? Get it for me? Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
What do rich people do when they want to get what they want? They give a gift. How do I know? That's what philanthropists, whatever they're called, do when they want something. They'll pay the government off. Here, let me give you a donation of all this money, but you got to push my policy. So they do things that they ought not, but they're justified through their gifts. So they're like, oh, well, you can't mess with him now. We know he's all right. He may have said a few bad things, but this guy's okay. He might have killed a few 100,000 people, but he's not a bad guy. Especially our world leaders. They're the ones that get justified through things that ought not be said. But let's keep going.
Verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look what he saith, they exalt it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him.
So when the rich man speaks, because you are already destroyed by his gifts and all of his glamour, and you want to be like him, you see you have that carnal visual lust, and that's what gets you hypnotized and saying, oh, look at all the stuff he got, and I was reading on his backstory, he did this and that. And then the poor man with all the wisdom who you don't know could have just been Yahushua slipping in just for a minute to prove to you that you're unrighteous. Because when the poor man's speaking wisely, nobody has anything to say, and they don't really want to hear him. And if he messes up, they're going to go after him. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Where are we at? If he stumbled, they will help to overthrow him. So, as a poor man, you can't say anything wrong. And if you do, they will run to the mountaintops. They will scorn you to, they'll scorn you to death. They'll laugh. They'll literally laugh at you. They'll point you, tisk, tisk, tisk. Look at this fool. You know what I'm saying? They judge you by the amount of money in your bank account, not by the amount of wisdom or knowledge that the Most High put on your frontlets. All right, let's keep going.
Riches are good unto him that have no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly.
Ooh. So, riches are good unto him that have no sin. Now, when I think about that, I think Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 sons, David, Solomon. Those were the people that had riches that had no sin. They didn't have any sin. I mean, they had flaws, but wasn't David after the Most High's own heart? So he did what he wanted. He was meek. He did what he was supposed to without letting somebody else stand in the way. So, okay, let's finish this out. We got 2 more verses, a couple precepts, and we're going to close it out there.
The heart of a man changes his countenance, whether it be for good or evil, and a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance.
So right there, the heart of a man, when his mind changes, the way he looks, actually, your countenance is your expressions on your face, and when we can tell. So when you're angry, your countenance changes to anger. When you're happy or excited, somebody comes in and drops a bag of money on you, you're like, oh, dang, there it is. You're not going to be able to hide that change in your countenance. But I wanted to show you something in sirach chapter 2 and verse 4, because it said over here, the heart of a man changeth his countenance, whether it be for good or evil. A merry heart maketh cheerful countenance. What is a cheerful countenance? Well, when I go over here and I read sirach verse chapter 2, verse 4, whatever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. A cheerful countenance means to be faithful. Be faithful. Not running around like a fool. Bad things are happening, but I'm okay. No, it means to have faith. Because nobody can actually do that while bad things are happening. You can't run around acting like a fool, acting like everything's great. A cheerful countenance means that you have faith in the Most High. Everybody can tell something's wrong with you, but they can see it in your face that you have faith in something. There's something different about you. But last verse. A cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity. And the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. A wearisome labor of the mind. It's not easy breaking this book down. You have to actually study. But a faithful countenance is a token of a mind that is rich. We are rich up here. We know what's coming. We know that this is all going to be destroyed. And we know that the Most High has, the Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is bringing us something special. And we'll all be paid according to our works.
Can I back off of something you just said? Can you give
Yes,
me
absolutely.
Sirach 11 and 21?
Sirach chapter 11, verse 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in Yahweh, and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of Yahweh on the sudden to make a poor man rich.
So like you were saying, we be poor, but we're rich up here.
Mm-hmm.
We're rich in the mind.
Absolutely.
That comes from Yahweh, right? Because, like it says, we don't marvel at the work of the sinners. We know how these super wealthy people get their money. We know the things that they do when they have their money. We don't marvel at those things because we know that they're wicked people to begin with, right?
Absolutely.
But we trust in the God that gave us the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of these laws, statutes, and commandments. And by that, the Lord easily, all of a sudden, made us rich.
You know what? With that being said, I'm going to close out right here. Revelation 22 and 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. If you have eyes to see and you have ears to hear, Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai willing, you are able to get something out of this message. Shalom.
Shalom.